and I am co-founder of the Mindful Mind. And we have Nishta Narula with us. So she's a psychologist with Fortis Mental Health. So welcome on board, Nishta. So as the today's
Thank you.
topic is that we would be discussing more about the mental health, because these days, the kind of scenario we are into, it's a bit quite a challenge, because we all are feeling stressed out, anxiety. So we would need your help to explain that, how we can maintain a good, healthy mind. And this is an open forum, so we would be taking questions from our viewers as well. So I will take up those questions, and then you can, answer those, queries. So I
Absolutely.
guess over to you, so you can start the discussion.
Right. So I would just like to introduce myself also. My name is Nishtha, and I am a counseling psychologist with Fortis Healthcare. I
Mm-hmm.
practice out of Delhi, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this page is based out of Bangalore, if I'm not wrong. Uh, yes. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of mental health and
Mm-hmm.
essentially how during these uncertain times, our mental health has also been really impacted by all
Mm-hmm.
these sudden changes that has swept all of us in, just this. It's so spontaneous in nature that we just weren't prepared about it. And here we are, not knowing what to do, working from home, not really equipped with a pandemic, a lockdown. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, our anxiety has increased during these times only because we don't know what is going to happen in the future. We don't know when this uncertainty, when everything is going to get back to normal. So I think dealing with this new normal and along with that, I think the fear of just contracting this virus is also something which has overpowered us. So
Mm-hmm.
I think when we talk about anxiety during the pandemic, there are these three kinds of anxieties that come across us. One is the anxiety of the uncertain, like I've already discussed. Second, the anxiety of falling ill. Nobody wants to get the virus. Nobody wants to really fall sick because we know that there are no vaccines and everybody is just taking antibiotics and getting better. So I think also that aspect of it is making people anxious. Plus, along with that, uh, passing on the illness to your loved ones. If somebody gets it in the house, they get this added pressure of isolating themselves so that they don't infect the others. So I think there also people do feel कि हमको अपनी सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेंटेन करके रखनी चाहिए हमें अपनी सिविल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेंटेन करके रखनी चाहिए because somewhere if we don't take precautions, if we are not really careful about our actions and behaviors, तो obviously हमारे loved ones बहुत ज़्यादा impact होंगे. And third anxiety जो बहुत सारे लोग face कर रहे हैं is the anxiety of the financial pressure,
Mm-hmm.
right? So many
Right.
people are not going to work. So many people are not they don't know how they are going to run their homes. There are people who are displaced from their homes. There are people who are away from their families. There are people who don't have money to even buy one meal a day. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I think the anxiety of running a house and the anxiety of the financial burden is also a lot on people. So, yes, mental health in these times has been impacted. And I think the way to deal with this, the way to overcome this, is to
Mm-hmm.
live in the moment, to be more mindful of who you are and where you are, um, to be more resilient and collective in nature, that हम लोग सब मिलकर bounce back करेंगे from this pandemic that has overtaken all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because um, something that I would like to mention, and um, one of my really one of my mentors told me this, is that only if we as a collective society, only if we as people who are socially responsible in during these times isolate ourselves is how we are going to fight the pandemic.
Yeah, see, isolating is fine, but only thing is that because once you don't have a social interaction, right, and your movement is also limited. You cannot go out, right? You are not in sun. You cannot feel the healthy air. So obviously, these has a direct impact on your mental health, right? Because you cannot move, and you cannot go out with your friends, so your social life is almost negligible. Only is that you are just stuck in your house with your close ones only. So I understand that it's a time that we should spend time with our family and we should work on ourselves. But these are the things also which creating so much of it impacts you, right? So how we can deal with that?
So, nobody has told us to emotionally distance ourselves or virtually distance ourselves from our loved ones or our friends. We are
Mm,
only asking to physically distance ourselves. So, I think
mm,
somewhere maintaining virtual connect, um, indulging in lots of video calls, audio calls, rekindling those friendships, those relationships that you have not been able to invest in. I think those are the things that are going to give you that sense of normalcy, because you would still be in touch with your friends. I mean,
mm,
I know for a fact that there are so many people who are celebrating birthday parties over Zoom calls these days, because at the end of the day, you want to feel the presence of your friends and your family around you, even if not physically, but virtually, even if they are present, you do feel
mm,
a sense of social interaction. So, social interaction not in the physical space, but social
mm,
interaction in the virtual space. And a lot of times people are mistaking social distancing as emotional distancing also. So isolation does not mean that you don't talk to anybody. Isolation does not mean you can't go out in your balcony or for a walk downstairs in your colony or in your society. Isolation also does not mean that you can't go out to take groceries. Isolation only means that nothing which can expose you or anybody else
mm,
to the virus should be avoided. So, avoiding any social gatherings, avoiding going out, and for that matter, having a coffee with a friend or going out to somebody's house for dinner, for that matter. In this lockdown, everything is closed, so the only places you can go to is either the market for groceries or to somebody's house for a meal. But I think even avoiding those unnecessary trips to the market or to somebody's place is going to be beneficial for everybody, for that matter, right?
mm,
So yes, just laying some importance on the fact that it's necessary कि हम अपने emotions को अभी भी uphold करें. We don't
mm,
ignore our feelings, but give them the importance that they need, give them the respect that they need. Reach out to people, talk to people as much as possible. Um, Not withdraw, not stay shut, not stay aloof, but express in ways like either through the medium of interaction or
mm,
expression through the medium of art, expression through the medium of things that you like to do, picking up a hobby. There are so many people who are embracing cooking or baking for that matter during these times. Why? Because they are finding the time to connect with those parts of themselves that they weren't able to give time to in the
mm.
past. So, all of these things, I think, together, if done, are going to uphold one's mental health during these trying times.
Sure. So we are having a lot of queries, and mainly it's around that how to counter negative thinking. It's like something happens in your office, there are politics around, and people are facing breakup also. So these are the times wherein you feel very low, right? And you certainly cannot control the thoughts which comes in your mind. You want to calm down, you don't want to think about those people or those stuff, but you cannot control it. So any suggestion, probably you can give some tips, that how to stop your mind from overthinking.
So overthinking is very natural, and people do obviously face overthinking in times where there is so much of uncertainty because they want to answer all the questions by themselves. But it's important that we identify these negative thoughts first. We accept that yes, there would be negative thoughts, and then be able to replace them with positive thoughts. An active effort in these in this direction is going to help people in overcoming overthinking. Also,
Mhm.
at the same time, it's important that you indulge in hobbies. You are able to distract yourself in that particular situation and do things that make you happy, do things that give you joy, for you to be able to detach yourself from the negativity.
Mhm. Okay. And a lot of people are asking about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So one of the query is it genetic?
Um, so obsessive compulsive disorder is a clinical disorder. It can have a lot of causes. Essentially, there are we segregate them into biological, psychological, and social causes. So, as for OCD being a genetic disorder, that is not completely true. Partly in some people, if their ancestors or their family or anybody in the family has OCD, then they are predisposed to having it. But it's not necessary that somebody who has OCD, it would only be because of their genes.
Okay. And then there are also queries on, how to inculcate new habit, and we keep on reading that, it takes 21 days to, form a new habit. So how, we can get into or habituate into creating new habits.
So, habit is something that we regularly engage in on a routine basis. So, like for example, you brush your teeth in the morning, it's a habit. You take a bath every day, that's a habit. So, I think we shouldn't really think about how many days it's going to take us to form a habit, but just focus on maintaining a regularity and a routine, and automatically the habit will be formed.
Okay, so there is no such rules that I guess it depends on person to person.
Yes, it depends from person to person and the motivation to develop a particular habit. If you do it every day and if you ensure that it's a part of your routine, then automatically it will become a habit.
Okay. And then there is query on social media depression, because there are a lot of news and a lot of negativity, on social media. So it gives you so much of, I would say, bad vibes at times, that you start feeling anxious because it's so much, be it COVID or anything. I think we are in an era, we are on overload of information, which becomes too much to handle. So how we can, handle
So I
this social
think
media depression. I guess
it's
it's a new
very
terminology.
So it's a very interesting concept. As much as social media depression really means nothing, but when you say that we have an information overload, I personally believe that it also depends from again person to person how much of social media content they consume. So if I don't really read the news or if I don't follow any such pages, then I wouldn't have any information overload. But for somebody who is really interested in knowing what's happening around the world, for that person, yes, they may be having an information overload. Essentially, I think here the concept of media literacy is very important. We need to know what content we are consuming and where is it coming from, who is essentially paying for that content, and is there something which is missing out in the content that we're reading? So at times, what
Mhm.
happens is that we just blindly believe what we're reading. Um, we are aware about fake news and fake messages floating around everywhere. But I think to be more mindful and aware about हम क्या चीज पढ़ रहे हैं, उसकी वैलिडिटी क्या है, वो किस सोर्स से आई है, उसके बेसिस पे अगर हम इंफॉर्मेशन को फिल्टर करना शुरू कर देंगे, then automatically we will realize that actually there is no information overload, but it's about what you are consuming and what you choose to consume.
Okay, so it's onus is on us only that we need to be more
Absolutely.
mindful.
Absolutely. So, like, I have stopped reading news about COVID because I personally felt that
Good.
yes, it is becoming too much. I do read
Exactly.
about, so I do stay updated with what's happening. So, like, the Ministry of Health does come
Exactly.
with two updates in a day. So I do, see that just for my own knowledge. I do read the newspaper, but then that's about it. I wouldn't want to check my Instagram feed only for what's happening around the world, because then that is um, information overload for me. So I would, I think it's a personal choice about what you want to consume.
No, but I guess it's a very good suggestion because I myself, stopped watching all those, because 24/7 news is just you can see or you can get the updates. That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for the suggestion. And then there is one query on how should one deal with the low sense of self-worth?
Hmm. So yes, a lot of people do face this difficulty of having low self-worth. And I think our
Mhm.
sense of self needs to be more cohesive in nature. And for that, I think we need to first identify our strengths and our weaknesses. Our strengths need to be identified because of that is how we are going to um, appreciate ourselves for our successes. And meanwhile, at the same time, knowing our weaknesses so that we are able to act upon them in a better way. To be able to identify our failures and grab some learning experiences out of them so that we can work on them in a better way and be able to improve our self-worth. But I think
Mhm.
our self-worth is so self-worth basically means how we perceive our own self, right? And that can only be positive if we value ourselves for our strengths and our weaknesses.
Okay, thank you. And one query is what if you are mentally abused by someone really close to you, like emotional manipulation and right?
So if you are undergoing emotional manipulation or any kind of abuse from somebody who's very close to you, then the first thing that you should do is to reach out to somebody and talk to them about it. If in case you feel that there is nobody whom you can discuss this with, and you would not be comfortable in discussing this with somebody who knows you, then you can always reach out to an expert. In fact, I would want to take this opportunity and tell everybody who's watching here that Fortis runs a 24/7 helpline, and the number is 837-680-4102. I'll
Mhm.
actually put it down here for everybody.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
yeah, just one second. So, the Fortis 24/7 helpline is what I'm talking about here. And there are mental health experts on the other end who are always there to listen to you at whatever hour of the day.
Mhm.
They would take your calls and be available for you to listen to you. And yes, if you do think that you are going through any kind of difficulty or abuse in any way, then yes, you should reach out to somebody and talk to them about it.
Mhm. Okay, that's a good thing. And one more query is that can intense thinking or low times can affect your sleep cycle or the behavior of body or hormones?
Yes, it can. It can, absolutely. When we are distressed and when we are not at ease, our sleep does get affected, and that has an impact on our behavior also. So it's very interesting that, so when we think about a particular thing, so our thoughts impact our feelings, and our feelings impact our behaviors. So there is this loop that is always in place, and our thoughts and our feelings do impact our behavior and sleep as well.
Mhm. Okay. And one more query is someone has anger issues, but that person just needs some love and care, but no one understands this thing. What should that person do? Yeah, that's I think good question, because I read somewhere that people who are getting angry actually they are crying for help. Is a like they want love and they want validation. So, but people take it very negatively. Oh, you are getting angry, it means you are a bad person. They label you, right? And they probably create more distance with you. So I guess that's a very valid question, that people who maybe get, because anger is like expression of your emotion, right? And it's a healthy emotional expression, right? You can't say it's a, because it's a negative emotion, so it's wrong. But the people who get angry misunderstood by people generally. So yeah, so probably you
Yes, so
can,
I think anybody for that matter, regardless of the fact if they are angry, if they have anger issues or not, can be subject to misunderstanding. But I think what is more important here is for us to understand that it's not about why somebody is angry, but what needs to be done when somebody is angry. So I think we need to be a little more empathetic to their behavior, to be always there for them and not reprimand them for their behavior. If we know that somebody is crying for help or somebody wants the attention and the love that they most definitely need, then obviously we should be there for them and let them know that. Help is always available, and anger management is something that would need expert help because it can spiral into
Mhm.
more toxic behaviors, more negative behaviors, and if not treated in the at the right time, then it can lead to other personality and behavioral problems also.
Oh, is it? So I guess it's a critical matter of concern, and it's like
It depends on the intensity of
okay.
the issue.
Okay. And then other query is how to improve performance in a Viva. Tips to how to improve performance in a Viva.
Just study well, and just be confident about what you
Preparing
know,
this.
and you would ace it. Just don't worry about your answers, back yourself up. That's it.
I guess your confidence and your clarity of mind, it comes out of your body language. So just be in your mind, be confident, and be positive. I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And see, Anisha, can you please repeat the your call center number, because I guess
So it's a
I don't.
helpline number. It's not a call center. It's
Sorry, sorry.
psychologists who are mental health experts who are there on the call at all times. The number is 837 six
Eight
eight
three.
zero six eight
Sorry, can
zero
you?
four.
Yeah, can you repeat again? I'll just put on the comment.
Sure, 837 680
Okay.
4102.
41068
4102.
2. I repeat, it's 837-680-4102.
Yes.
Okay. And then one query is mm, use of stress relief tablets.
One shouldn't self-medicate at all. One should always refer to a a psychiatrist before
Okay.
taking any kind of medicines for their mental health. And if you think that you need any kind of support, you want to talk to somebody, then you can always reach out to a psychologist.
Okay. So I put that number, I guess. And mm, then how yoga is important to controlling stress issues.
Yoga is important to be more mindful. It's important for us to be present in the moment and to feel a sense of peace and calm. It does help in reducing stress.
Mhm. Then how to have the positive attitude towards life and be courageous and confident at every aspect of your life.
I think
I
it's all
think it's
about self-confidence. I've answered this question before. It's just about identifying your strengths and weaknesses.
Right. And
I think we're
uh,
running out of time.
I
We
guess,
just have
yeah.
about 3 minutes.
It's yeah. So we are just through with the questions. I guess you can just maybe let us know that again how we can deal with the stress and some tips for handling anxiety and all. So
So yes, like I mentioned, I think it's important that we give ourselves that time that we need. We should indulge in self-care. We should indulge in virtual communication. Um, Speak to your friends, speak to your family, reconnect with people whom you've lost touch with. Um, Indulge in things that you really like doing. I have started painting. I picked up a brush after almost 10 years in this lockdown. So, yes, I reconnected with something that I truly doing. I have a mini garden.
mm,
So, I have been watering my plants and taking care of them every day. So, that makes me feel connected to the nature. And I make it a point around greenery because yes, I can't go out, but having breathing in that fresh oxygen really makes me
yeah,
also um, full of endorphins. And at the same time, I think it's also important that we um, understand the understand that uncertainty is something that is not going away anywhere until at least a month or two more. So being more socially responsible, using our collective social responsibility to get us all out of this pandemic is what we need to do. We should be present in the here and now and not think about the implications of this on our future, because the more we think about the future, our
right.
anxiety is going to increase. So yes, just staying in the moment, doing everything that you can right now, doing things that make you happy, spending time with family, reconnecting with them, just utilizing this time to the best of its capacity. Because so these 2 3 months that have gone by are just a cross section in our you know really long life. And what is more important is that we use this time. Yes, it's negative in nature. Yes, people are suffering across the globe, but we are with family. And if we take care of ourselves, if we are mindful of our responsibility of maintaining social distancing, then we can be safe and ensure that our loved ones are safe. And then all of us together, we can defeat this pandemic.
Sure. And there is one query on if somebody is doing self harm and that person still feels need to cut themselves, what can that person do?
So
I think
self-harm is wrong. Self-harm is something that needs to be taken care of, and one should refer to an expert as soon as possible.
I guess maybe they can reach out to your helpline number.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess thank you so much, Nirmal, for giving
Thank
us
you.
value.
It was lovely speaking to you, and
Thank you all for joining us. Bye. Take
bye
care.
bye. Thank you.